Hey guys, welcome back to Dip Switch Demos. My name is Jackson and today we're going to be taking a look at a selection of mid-pushed overdrives. This is a video I've tried to film 3 or 4 times and it's just never kind of worked out the way I wanted it to. So we're going to broaden it up a little bit and just take a look at some of my favourite overdrives. Mid-push drives are some of my favourite overdrives. I think they can be the most useful in a band mix, in front of any type of amplifier. You know, they really help cut through a mix, because essentially mids are where the guitar sits. You know, even if you have a really scoopy Fendery amp, having that mid-pushed overdrive really helps that guitar cut through. This video is going to show you the differences between a lot of those most famous categories of overdrive pedals. I'm also going to show you some of my favourites in this ballpark, and I'll also show you the difference between a mid-pushed overdrive and a more flat sounding transparent overdrive as well. So I guess I will show you the drives that we'll be using today. One of the most famous overdrives of all time is the Tube Screamer, and the kind of Tube Screamer that we'll be looking at in the video today is the JHS Bonsai. One of my favourite pedals at the moment. It has how many different overdrives? 9 or 10 different Tube Screamers inside of here, all the classic recreations as well, so TS808, TS9, all those nice things. I think we'll run it on my favourite setting, which is actually the JHS setting on here as well. So we'll be taking a look at that. That kind of fills out the Tube Screamer slot. So I'll also be taking a look at the Boss SD-1 Super Overdrive. This is the Wazacraft edition. A lot of people get confused between the Tube Screamer and the SD-1, say they're pretty much the same thing. They are very, very similar. The biggest difference between the two is that the Tube Screamer has symmetrical clipping and the SD-1 has asymmetrical clipping. As far as I know, asymmetrical clipping is slightly more amp-like and slightly more aggressive. And you can really hear that once you, if you listen to the Super Overdrive. So we'll take a look at that. It still does the same mid-push and low cut that the Tube Screamer does, and it has the same sort of gain range as well, but the biggest difference is that clipping. Another very famous pedal in the kind of mid-push category is the Klon. Again, one of the most sought after and copied pedals in the world. We'll be taking a look at the RYRA clone, which is a really faithful recreation of the original. Again, it's that mid-push thing, but the difference with this is it doesn't have so much of a low cut. It has a little low cut, but not as much as a Tube Screamer or SD-1 in my opinion. One of the things that make this pedal so famous is that it is such a great solo boost. Having the gain really low or off completely and boosting that output is a really great way to make your solos cut through a mix and have a bit more volume. Also sounds great when you run the drive up. Actually, I think that's a really underrated tone of the Klon. Having the drive a bit higher and using it as a typical overdrive is also great boosting other overdrives. Another really interesting pedal and a personal favourite of mine is the Tate Effects Antares. Essentially this, as far as I know, is the front end of a Tube Screamer and the back end of an SD-1. Or the other way around, I can't quite remember, but essentially it's half and half of the two. So you get a really interesting flavour that is neither here or there with the SD-1 or Tube Screamer, but is a great alternative to either. I really love this pedal. Great thing about this as well is that it's got a clean blend on there as well, so you can blend back in your clean tone, which is really useful. And finally, the overdrive that I'm kind of using as a medium place, it's not a mid-pushed overdrive, I would say. It's a pretty flat, transparent sounding pedal, is the Greer Lightspeed. Essentially, we're going to be comparing the mid-push stuff to this and also boosting this with the mid-push stuff. Hopefully that kind of makes it slightly more interesting for you guys as well. So I hope this video is interesting for you guys. Like I said, I've filmed it a couple of times and it's never really worked, so hopefully this is the time it works. I'll be using my Music Man Cutlass into all these pedals, into the Victor V40 set pretty clean with a bit of reverb. honourable mentions for you guys, because obviously these are not all the mid-pushed overdrives in the world, but here are some others that I own. There is nothing wrong with a classic tube screamer. It sounds great. You know, a lot of people pay a lot of money, including for the JHS Bonsai, I suppose, but a lot of people pay more than that for a great tube screamer, and you've got a great tube screamer in the TS9 or a classic TS08. Awesome drive, love it. There were also, like I said, countless versions of all of these, including the Archer, which is another version on the Klon. We have the full tone full drive, which I believe is a tube screamer type thing with a boost as well. Unfortunately this is faulty, so I would be playing this. I use this pedal for probably the longest I've ever used any pedal, and I keep putting off getting it fixed. But yeah, awesome pedal, mid push thing. And finally, something a little different is a Rangemaster treble booster, which does, I like the name suggests, boost the treble, but it also kind of more pushes the upper mids and mids. Less gain, in fact pretty much no gain, but it's great boosting other things. And here we've got the Thorpe Veteran, which has a treble booster on one side. Thanks for checking out the video, guys. I hope you liked what you saw. If you did, please go check out some more videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.